Hey guys, Robert here with Realty One Group Skyline, and today is one of those days which we usually get once a year, sometimes twice, and this is storm prep day. So when there's a hurricane in the Gulf or a tropical storm that could transform into a hurricane, as you can see, there's already some clouds forming in the sky. What we do, and typically what a lot of people, the people that are new here, they panic and they freak out, and they've never been through one, and they're like, oh my gosh, so they think, and it might be their first house, like they may not have a lot of extra capital, and they can't afford a tragedy or something to happen. So it's completely understandable, guys. Like, I get it, as I did the same thing on my first house when I was young, and I freaked out, and I was like hurricane shutters, I'm gonna put them up. It just felt cool because it was like my house, my hurricane shutters, I'm preparing for a storm. You just felt so responsible, right? And so protective of your situation. So, but as you get through them and you learn, and I'm going to show you this, guys, because I'm headed to some houses right now. I'm headed to my tenant's house because they always freak out, and they always, want the hurricane shutters put up because they have some kids and stuff like that. So I'll put them on the bottom. I'll do the back slider and the back living room window just for peace of mind, really. And what it's for, guys, is the hurricane shutters. The wind is not going to break the glass, okay? It's for projectiles. When it's called impact glass, that means it's for the impact of a projectile, of an object. So if with the windows that have shutters, they're usually double pane. They're impact glass, but they're not hurricane impact glass. So they're usually two panes of glass with some type of argon gas or something in the middle of them to kind of pressurize them, right? And it kind of insulates them as well. So if something hit the window, right, it would maybe crack the first pane, right, and wouldn't go through both panes, and the pressure from the gas would push something away from the glass rather than suck something inwards. You know what I mean? So because when you break a hole, all that gas wants to release, and it pushes out right in that area where the impact is. So it would protect something from going all the way through, unless it was like a freaking bullet or a spear or something like that someone threw a javelin through your window, right? Hurricane impact glass, that's 3 panes of glass, and I used to sell those, so I know those are definitely argon filled. They have an argon gas, they're insulated. They used to be the top hurricane window salesman in New England, believe it or not. So and that was the thing. So I'm going to put shutters up. I'm going to show you how that's done. And then one of my customers who just moved here from Georgia, she's tripping. So I'm going to go help her put her shutters up. And then my neighbor is tripping too. So we're I don't know, maybe on the slider. I don't know. Maybe not. So anyway, guys, that's storm prep. North Parrish, the main thing is the flooding and the storm surge. And like you've seen in my flooding video, guys, it's being at those low levels, right? So if you're at low elevations, if you're 25 feet above sea level, if you're near a creek, if you're near a river, within a mile from it, right, then you could get storm surges, and the little creeks and stuff that connect to it could swell up, because that's going to backflow into the creeks, stay within a mile from there. And then you're going to get, plus with the saturated ground, when you have these irrigation ponds right here, those things are going to sometimes fill, but they're like I showed you in my video, that there's a chain. They're connected to a chain of ponds, which then are connected to lowland preserves. There's these tubes, like a sewer system, and an irrigation system that goes underneath them. So if one gets too high, it levels out to the next one. Then it gets too high, it levels out into the preserve. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that's It's all planned out, guys. So, you might get a little puddle in your yard for maybe a few hours, something like that. But it'll go away within like a day. And I mean, all the lots are padded up. So they've all got the irrigation sores. As long as there's no debris in the sores and stuff like that, it should all be fine, guys. So I've never had, this will be like my, I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th hurricane, right? Since I've owned new construction homes in that Moccasin Wallow, Palmetto Parrish area. And I have barely even lost electricity, I think, for a couple hours, and that was it. Because you have underground power lines. Don't always put hurricane shutters up, and don't put them on all the windows. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll just do it because all the neighbors are doing it. So you're like, I should put mine up. You know what I mean? A good tip would be like for water, right? Fill up your bathtub. Fill it up with water, because if there's ever an issue with the water supply, which all of our water in Manatee County is in tanks, so it's very hard for it to get contaminated. And if you have a water filtration system at your house, that I don't think you'd have a potable water situation. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Especially at higher elevations, like North Parrish. You're at a higher elevation, so the tanks, even the water tanks there, are at a higher elevation, right? So there's no breach on those lines or whatever, right? So, yeah, guys. So hurricane shutters, hurricane impact windows, just putting all your projectiles inside. That's like the main thing too. It's just like making sure that all of your, patio furniture is inside. Any small plants you have, because they'll get killed with the wind, right? Any like potted plants that you have laying around outside, the wind will just kill them. It's gonna blow some mulch around. Just stuff like that, guys. And because if you're like near the woods, right, then that's when you'd want hurricane impact shutters on. You'd want your hurricane shutters on. Sides of the house, probably not going to get any projectiles if you have a 10-foot setback between houses, like for something to get through there and come at an impact rate to where it would break your window. I don't see that happening. I just do the fronts and the backs, particularly, and only if there's like if you had a preserve and there was like some like older woods and older trees in there where the wind could carry those limbs or little pieces of limbs at your glass, or if you were at like there was a lot of new construction going on and the builders and the workers didn't secure the construction site. And say like they didn't empty the dumpsters, say there was a bunch of like little boards, at the top of the dumpster or laying around the job sites, and they weren't all cleaned up and secured, then you could have stuff, shooting around like little pieces of wood, blowing around and hitting people's windows, guys, and that could cause some damage. But it most likely is not going to go all the way through your window if you have even impact or hurricane impact. So even without shutters, I think it would probably break one pane. If I could be wrong, but don't take my word for it. But it's better to be safe than sorry, guys. But like I said, after you've been through this enough times, it's kind of like I remember one storm like 2 years ago. We're like, oh crap, we put the shutters on. It was like you heard it like they were banging, like they were like vibrating against the house, and you're like, oh crap, what's going on out there? The one like 2 years ago, like Irma or something like that, but I think that's pretty nuts. Anyways, guys, I'm going to show you how to put these hurricane shutters on in a minute when I get over to my tenants, to my rental property, and see you there. All right, guys, so this is how it's done here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna find these little bolts. You're gonna see them, and you just take your drill. You know, I just got like a Ryobi impact drill gun. So you unscrew, and screw back in. So you unscrew them, kind of loosen them like that, like I did there. I loosened all these first, and then I hung them like that. And the slider is gonna go sideways, so it's gonna go long ways. This goes horizontal. I mean, this goes vertical, that goes horizontal. So, and then you just kind of tighten them in there. Done. Then just hit each one and you tighten them. And that will protect your windows from debris. Say like that swing set blew, you know, parts of it blew off and blew into these windows, right? So I'm not really gonna worry about the top, but the top is a little bit different. So that has those pegs, and then you'll usually have a box that the builder gave you, and it has these little wing nuts in it. So the shutters will go on there, and then you'll tighten them with the wing nuts. We'll secure them in there. So there you go, guys. That's how you put up hurricane shutters, and that's what. Yeah, guys, and I remember last year, this whole neighborhood was putting up their shutters, and now nobody's doing it. So, you know, they were all brand new, just moved in, scared to death. And now everyone's just like, whatever. So that's how it's done, guys.